1,200 horsepower snowmobiles on open water skimming the surface of a lake in northern Wisconsin at speeds over 60 miles per hour. Yes, please. Snowmobile Watercross. It's going to be a wild show held on H2O, and it's all next.
Got it tacked up, and if you get too close, you're getting cracked up. Stone cold when I roll, coming out of the hole. Get back, cause I'm out of control.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Grantsburg, Wisconsin, Memory Lake Park for the World Championship Watercross presented by General Tire. In fact, it's the 46th running of the World Championships here. The Snowmobile Watercross is held each year, third weekend of July at Memory Lake Park in downtown Grantsburg. It's their biggest event of the year. And with more, let's get it down to Kristen Banks.
I hope you guys are excited because you're about to see snowmobiles race on water. Let's talk a little bit about these sleds. It's a traditional snowmobile with a little more narrow front end. They are going to be getting upwards of 75 to 80 miles per hour, but guess what that means? They can't get any lower than 30 miles per hour or their sleds may sink. Now, hopefully they have a flotation device on board so that they won't go down with the sleds. This is your Pro Stock class, the fastest of the fastest racers. However, they're on sleds that are completely stock and haven't been modified at all.
Yeah, all stock sleds here, max engine size, 850 cc's. David Fisher, Rachel O'Brien, and Jake McAdams. By the way, David Fisher, the 2021 Pro Stock champ, also a four-time Pro Open champ, and watch him go to work here.
Yeah, he would dispose of the other two very quickly here in this first race. Fisher would get the win and move on.
And once again, bringing you round one highlights here. Leinbach, Eastman, and Whitaker doing battle here.
Yeah, you can see Leinbach out in front, very similar to what we saw from David Fisher. It's all about balance on these things. Like Kristen said, you got to keep your MPH up or you're just going to sink.
McAdams, Barrett, and Dufour all doing battle here. Take a look at the angle here. Much like a jet ski, you can see them really use their body English to get these things to turn.
McAdams, a former semi-pro champion. He'll get the win and move on as we will move over to our Pro Stock LCQ. Boyle, Whitaker, McAdams again, and Dufour.
Pretty cool to see them leave from the beach. Scrapping hard out of the mud, pick the front end up and hit the water. Dayton Moyle doing a good job here in the LCQ, able to move on. And with more, let's go to Kristen.
Up next, we have your Semi-Pro Open. These racers are one step down from the fastest guys in the world. In their sleds, they can be stock or modified.
Yeah, these things make some big-time steam here, no doubt about it. Hiller, Sorotsky, and Cheswick.
Sorotsky out of Lake Linden, Michigan on the Ski-Doo. Finished second at Brainerd recently. Great overhead shot. You look at this course, they have to go around those yellow buoys. They're called equalizer buoys. You have to go around the outside at least once.
Yeah, picture a joker lane, if you will, or a joker lap, if that helps you understand a little differently. Hudick, Nyland, and Meskel would be here as we show you round one highlights again in the Semi-Pro Open.
If you miss going around the buoys, you are allowed to go back and circle back around them. If you hit one, they're going to take some money out of the general purse to fix it.
Yeah, however, if you don't go around those yellow buoys, around that joker lap, if you will, you'll be scored in last place. Another good look there, how tight that is and how much speed they carry.
Boyle, Hodges, Laurie, Semi-Pro Open round one as we continue on here at Memory Lake.
The belt's just shredding the water. These things weighing in at about 400 pounds. They go three wide. And of course, if you're on the outside, why not take that joker lap right off the bat?
Yeah, that's what's cool about a little bit of strategy. But
trouble.
If you stop, yep, like we were talking about, Colton Laurie having issues there in the Ski-Doo, comes to a stop. And again, it's a 12 square acre Memory Lake, about 6 feet at its deepest point. So no harm, no foul.
Yeah, not too deep here. They do get to some places where it does get a little bit deeper, and they have to pull these things up off the bottom, so it can be problems as Dayton will hang on and grab that win. We go to the Semi-Pro LCQ. And yes, you will see the same names as they can compete in a couple of different categories.
So a strategy off the start. Do you go to the equalizer buoys first? Do you take the short way around? All that comes into play. Looking for some good water out there as Colton Laurie gets the win, and we'll move on.
We've got a lot of racing coming your way here at the 46th Annual World Championship Snowmobile Watercross. Lucas Oil on the Edge is brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Keep that engine alive. And by General Tire. For whatever you do, General Tire delivers. This is the big event of each year when they come to Grantsburg. This is the one they want to win, their Daytona 500, if you will. And we'll kick things off here with the Semi-Pro Open semifinals. Hiller, Nyland, and Bradshaw all lined up on the beach.
Both Nyland and Bradshaw ran second in the quarters. Hiller, of course, picked up the win on that number 94 machine. Will everyone head to the main red buoys?
Pretty cool to see some of the competitors looking around to see where the competition is. And
running them high.
Man, you can see how hard it is to check up, maintain your speed, get going again if you run that tight lane. Of course, around the equalizer lane, as you were talking about before, those yellow buoys, they can carry a lot more momentum, and that's exactly what's going to happen here as we keep an eye on number 257, Rod Nyland, who finished third in the points 1 year ago.
Yeah, around that equalizer line as he looks to the inside here on this final lap, maybe around the outside, trying to make it work.
Adam Hiller doing a beautiful job there, sets the nose down, picks the throttle right back up. He set the nose down, made the turn, got it rotated, picked the throttle right back up. By the way, they used the flap in the back, that mud flap, if you will, serves as a rudder, if you will, to help him get these things turned. And man, he is setting the nose down, putting some weight where he needs it to check up, get it rotated around the red buoy, and then stabs the throttle again, picks the front end back up, and takes off.
Yeah, they can make a lot of adjustments. They can raise or lower suspension, upgrade clutching, jetting, gearing on these things as we move on. Semifinals, Boyle, Laurie, and Matilla going at it.
Woo! Big wheel stand right there as well. Pretty fun to watch as Colton Laurie really yanked the front end of that thing up in the air.
Till we get to the final race, lanes are determined by a draw. Once we get to the finals, it will be accumulated points for these riders, but you can see really sliding high and just how much balance you have to have on these things is the 44. Dayton Moyle on the Polaris getting it done here early. Winner in the quarters.
Yeah, something else you really have to pay attention to here is clutch maintenance. You have to make sure that cover is sealed up. If that clutch gets wet at all, the belt gets any water on it, it'll start slipping. And, of course, will cost you some big-time speed. Could cost you a race. It could cost you your sled to the bottom of the lake. Oh, rider in trouble right there that went flying by. Just behind our leader. Clearly no seats on these things. You'll stand the entire time from start to finish. Looking back behind him, no real pressure here for Dayton as Dayton looks to bring it home, and it is the 124, unfortunately, of Eric Matilla, who ended up at the bottom of the lake. Sorotsky, Hodges, and Hudak.
That's absolutely awesome to watch these riders off the line. Big wheel stands. Not only trying to work the water, work their rig, looking where the other riders are. Got to go around the equalizer buoys. When do I want to do it? When do I want to make the jump to the outside part of the racetrack?
Yeah, if you're eating the roost or right on the back of somebody, it might make more sense to go around the outside lane that particular time, and our leader leans over too far and loses everything. We go back and take a look at Caden Hudak, who had that race in control for a moment and just that quickly went away.
Yeah, the 33, man, just dipped her down in there, and down he goes, so that will do it for him. Sorotsky, though, showing a lot of speed in that 333. He will get the win, and he is standing by with our Kristen Banks.
Austin Sorotsky, your number one qualifier for Semi-Pro Open. What has been your biggest challenge today?
I think it just, the classes so far has come a long way. The drivers are great, so it's really the hardest challenge so far that I've faced today is just the riders that I go up against.
Now in the finals, what's your game plan?
My game plan is to go out, ride smooth. Qualifying first, I get lane 1, so try and sneak inside and pull away with the win off the off the start.
It's a great plan until they drop the green flag, of course, and then everything seems to change. Leinbach, Barrett, and O'Brien lining up here in our Pro Stock semifinal. So switching here to Pro Stock.
Leinbach, of course, a winner in the quarters. Barrett was second. Rachel O'Brien on the Polaris finished in second as well in her quarterfinal run. There's a good look at those equalizer buoys and just how much longer it is around. Do you do it early? Do you do it late? Like you said, Ken, sometimes you get forced out there. Takes the decision-making away.
Yeah, important to know here, some of our drivers coming out of the semi-pro ranks, once you get up into the pro ranks, you can't go back, as we keep an eye on the number 29 of Eric Leinbach. Water getting pretty chopped up as well, so that adds another element to it. And Leinbach will bring it across the stripe in first place. Good job. Lasky, Moyle, and McAdams doing battle here. There's a Justin McAdams and a Jake McAdams, by the way. Jake McAdams, second in the points in 22, third in the points in 21.
Yeah, Justin, another former semi-pro champion, moving up into a pro stock, fifth in the points back in 2021.
And that's what you want to do. You want to work your way up. Of course, you get through the semi-classes and work your way up into the pro classes. Take on the big dogs like David Fisher.
Wow.
And you can see if you set the front end of that sled down too much and it grabs a ski, it'll yank you. It'll flip you right off of these things in a moment's notice.
It's really cool to watch the balance that they have on these things going through the corners. Like, oh, right there, a little hiccup. It says, okay, here we go, around the equalizer buoys.
Yeah, and of course it wants to flatten the sled out as well whenever it does that, and will redirect the entire sled. These guys make it look easy. I promise you, it is anything but.
All sleds have to have a belt guard, hood, brakes, functioning tether switch.
Good look at the 31 there of Austin Lasky. Second in 2022 in the semi-pro open category, now in pro stock.
Who would have thought snowmobiles on the water, right?
Well, we got a snowmobile sitting in the garage. We've got a lake out here. We got to be able to at least try this, right? So Lasky grabs a win. We go back and take a look at this replay with Dayton Moyle.
Wow, man, as he hit right there, a little hiccup, and then decides, okay, we're going to take the long way around. But great job of driving right there as we move on. Fisher, Voles, and Eastman going at it for Pro Stock semifinals. Voles a winner already at Brainerd this year. And, of course, Fisher, the multi-time champ, former winner here at Grantsburg.
Yeah, factory Polaris rider is David Fisher. He is amazing, extremely talented, and it looks like two riders are going to take the equalizer lap right off the bat here. That'll leave that lane completely open as David Fisher goes the tight route here one more time, and eventually we'll have to go around the yellow buoys and wrap things up.
Fisher, of course, winning in the quarters. Voles and Eastman both running second in their quarterfinal effort. Eastman third in 22 points. But David Fisher doing what David Fisher does, and that is win races here at Grantsburg.
See how smooth he is around the buoys. I mean, we saw Moyle before check up and get out of the throttle and really slam the front end down. You can see how easily he sets it down, gets it exactly where he wants it to be to get that sled to rotate. Possible mechanical advantage there. Maybe he does something with the throttle, but certainly talented enough to run that thumb throttle to really manage and control the weight of that sled.
Yeah, you can really see those skis bouncing around on the front, man. He is just so smooth when he is out there on that rig. He will get the win. Fastest qualifier, David Fisher gets it done, and he is down with Kristen.
David Fisher, number one qualifier in pro stock. What has been your biggest challenge so far today?
Of course, staying out front. Clean water, it's the best thing, you know, smooth track and run some tight buoys and try to keep ahead of everybody else.
Now, lining up on the line, knowing you're the number one guy, does it mess with your mindset?
Not really. Definitely, I've had a target on my back the last few seasons, so you just got to keep a clean head and just go for it.
Well, good luck out there.
Thank you.
Yeah, not fazed by the pressure. He is a multi-time champ, as Rob said before. Stay with us. Plenty more action coming up here at Grantsburg. Three days of racing here at Grantsburg, Wisconsin for the 46th annual World Championship Snowmobile Watercross. Time now for the Semi-Pro Open Final.
6 laps, the scheduled distance. Moyle, Hiller, Nyland, Laurie, Sorotsky, and Hodges going at it. here at Memory Lake.
Things get serious here in the finals. A lot more sleds, a lot more laps. Everybody, again, has to go around that equalizer lap. When do you do it? Now it will become very critical. So it was Moyle and Hiller side by side. Moyle on the 44 took the inside line. A beautiful job there. Hiller's going to take the outside, that equalizer lane. There's a look at the 94 of Hiller. Currently in second place there. We go back up and take a look at our leader in the 44, but things can change up here as this race progresses.
Moyle on a Polaris, won the quarters, won the semis. And you can see these guys really looking around, trying to find good, clean water, clean air. You don't want to get that thing up on the hop.
Yeah, and again, just really settles the nose of that down. So with that clean air, we heard David Fisher talking about that in the Pro Stock category, talking about how clean it is, or how important it is, I should say, to have that fresh water in front of you. Of course, with this many sleds out here, it's going to get choppy in a moment's notice, but he has no competition, no roost in front of him, so keeps running that tight line as quickly as possible, and looks like he will wait to run the equalizer lane right at the very end.
Yeah, it looks like he's really sizing up his competition, and now it looks like he will go around that equalizer lane, around the yellow buoys.
Whoa.
Oh, so close.
Had to check up there,
yeah,
just a little bit, right? Coming around here looking for that checkered flag. Man, 6 laps goes by quickly out here. And he was taking a look at the outside to see when that lane was clear, so he did not wait to the very last lap to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, really banging off of that chop. And there it is, checkered flag out. Great race there for Dayton Moyle.
Yeah, Moyle gets the win, sweeps the day here. Adam Hiller, Rod Nyland, Lori, Swarovski, Hodges, the top 6 here today in Semi-Pro Open. Let's get it down to Kristen, who's standing by with our winner.
We're with your Semi-Pro Open winner, Dayton Moyle. Now, I noticed you took that equalizer lap near the end of the race. What was the strategy there?
Well, I was just trying to get a big enough lead that when I took the equalizer, I could still come out in front. I had to take it either 5th lap or my last lap where I was, and second place ended up going down, so I had a big enough lead to take the equalizer. I got some water out of my sled, which was huge, as it worked perfect, and ended up coming out with the win, so that's great.
How does it feel to be the 2023 Semi-Pro Open champion?
Oh, it's great. We've been battling with the sled all weekend. Just couldn't catch a break. We were chasing our tails, and my pit crew worked their ass off, and to come out on top is great. It feels amazing.
He's not done, though. He's going to be part of our Pro Stock final as well, so stay with us. We'll find out who wins that one. Lucas Oil on the Edge is brought to you by General Tire. For whatever you do, General Tire delivers. And by Lucas Oil Products. Keep that engine alive. Once again, welcome back to Grantsburg for the 46th running of the annual World Championship Snowmobile Watercross. Time now for our Pro Stock final. It's going to be David Fisher, Leinbach, Vowles, Barrett, Moyle, and Lasky. Dayton Moyle fresh off that win in the Semi-Pro Open final. Fisher with a massive hole shot down there on the bottom. Lane 1 looking to keep it tight here. Of course, it was Moyle that got that hole shot last time around. We'll see if Fisher has any competition. Eric Leinbach decides to take the Joker lane right off the bat. Good news is he's going to be all by himself. Bad news is he's going to be in all of that chop now from the entire field in front of him.
Yeah, but David Fisher trying to kind of do what we saw Moyle do. Some quick laps through the inside there on the main buoys, and then probably going to take it 5th or 6th lap going around the equalizer line.
Leinbach hoping he can close the gap here as he went around that wide line, carrying good speed, of course. Should have some clean track in front of him in terms of sled, just dealing with the chop, but now everybody's dealing with chop.
Yeah, waiting to see when Fisher decides to go to that equalizer line. Is he going to do it right now? Looking left, looking right. Yep, there he goes. Very wide.
Sure enough, and man, yeah, he goes really wide. See how tight he is here on the exit, and again, very wide there on exit as well, so could be curious to see if in fact Leinbach could close up in front of him, but does not look to be the case. Wow, big moment right there, and a good reaction out of Fisher to keep that thing nice and calm. Wow, red flag.
Yeah, drop the red flag. We got one stopped.
See if we can figure out what happened here. And yeah, we've got a sled there on the course, and that's going to bring out the red flag so they can get safety out there to the rider immediately.
Yeah, it was Austin Lasky.
So a restart here. Again, Fisher, Leinbach lined up beside each other. Let's see if Leinbach decides to go wide here on the first lap. Again, look at the massive speed and hole shot out of Fisher.
Yeah, that's the one thing these guys can't do. If they bring out the red flag or the caution flag, they can't just putt around the water because they will sink. So a complete restart here is David Fisher. Sizing up the competition, already been around the equalizer cone, so he's going to keep it down to the red buoys on the inside.
Four-time champ in the Pro Open category, coming into this event looking to make it 5 in that class. Of course, this being Pro Stock. We talked about him being the 21 and 22 champ in Pro Stock, points champion, we should say. Factory Polaris rider, I mean, he is as tough as they come.
You can see it, man, just a fine line going through that chop at any second. Those skis can grab that water, catch an edge, and you'll go for a ride, but David Fisher, very smooth, whether the water's smooth or not. As the laps wind down here in the Pro Stock Final.
Yeah, believe it or not, they actually do give some rides out here from time to time, put somebody on there and take them for a ride. It's pretty cool to watch. So David Fisher is going to pick up the win here in the Pro Stock Final.
David Fisher, Pro Stock World Champion. How'd you get it done?
Oh, you know, it's just like got to stay out front, clean water. We had a little bit of a delay with a red flag halfway, but we were able to get out front again and just maintain that win.
Your 4th consecutive World Championship. How does it feel to have the most World Championships in Watercross history?
You know, there's a lot of guys out there that are on that trophy that, you know, I definitely want to try to chase, and being able to have my name on the list is definitely a pretty good feeling.
Well, congratulations to your Pro Stock World Champion, David Fisher.
It's been a lot of fun out here watching the best go at it on the water. For Kristen Banks and Rob Klepper, I'm Ken Stout. Remember, you're not living unless you're on the edge.